Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So, earlier today, I posted a video about Jordan Peele, about the fact that he's biracial and that he's married to a white woman. And I talked about whether or not that affects how I view the film. And I just want to emphasize the point that I made before, and that's this: I don't think his personal background adversely affected the film at all. I still view the film the same way I saw it, viewed it before I even knew anything about him being biracial or about him being married to a white woman. And I think that, even the people that raised questions, none of them could point out anything that was negative about the film based on this man's background. And I think that that alone confirms my point that his background, while it's interesting and while it may um, affect the film in some kind of way, here, there's no kind of evidence that it adversely affected the film. There's no evidence of any kind of hidden agenda here. There's nothing. I mean, no one has presented anything to counter my basic point. Now, I want to address this issue, go through some of these comments and address them one by one. So, the first thing someone said was that black men are quicker to give a black man a pass when it comes to this interracial dating issue. Now, I can't speak for all black men, but I'll speak for myself. I'll say that I don't give black men a pass. I have done plenty of videos critical of interracial dating, whether it's black men or black women. My record is clear. Anybody that can go to my materials and see that. So I just wanted to point that out. And the next thing I want to point out is there is a huge difference between somebody making a personal decision to be in an interracial relationship and someone going out of their way to promote that kind of lifestyle. I mean, there's a difference between somebody who happens to be in an interracial relationship and someone who goes out of their way through their websites or through their books or through their appearances on television to promote interracial relationships over any other kind of relationship. So I think to compare the two is apples and oranges. To expect me to have the same kind of animosity towards a Jordan Peele as I would have towards someone who has a book promoting swirling or something to that effect, I think that it makes no sense, to be honest. And I'll say this, if we were to take the position that any film involving a black person who's in an interracial relationship is something that should be suspect, or it should, the film should be suspect, or the film should be boycotted. I think if we were to use that standard, given the makeup of Hollywood, we would not be able to watch hardly any movies or any television shows because interracial marriage is so widespread in Hollywood um, that it would be basically difficult to find anything not involving an African American that's not in an interracial relationship. I mean, that's like me saying, well, I can't watch The Color Purple because Whoopi Goldberg had some interracial relationships in her life. Or I can't watch some great film with Alfre Woodard in it because she's in an interracial marriage. I mean, to me, that doesn't make any kind of rational sense at all. Um, for me, that's just something that I couldn't advocate. And the next thing is this, with respect to films, obviously people's personal experiences, color films, and all that kind of stuff, it does have some kind of impact on a film. But I don't think that that alone, the fact that somebody's in an interracial relationship or they're biracial, something like that, I don't think that that alone should be a reason for somebody to question a film. I think that you have to look at the film on its face. And if there are things that are negative about the film, then obviously point them out. But I don't think that someone should assume that there's some kind of hidden motive or some kind of secret agenda or something like that simply because somebody is, um, biracial or because they're married to a white woman. And somebody else brought up this point about They said, well, if you're going to take that kind of stance, then don't get mad at a white person doing a film about black issues or about the black experience or something like that. Um, so that was their argument. With respect to that, I don't have an objection to somebody doing a film about the black experience simply because they're non black. My objection would be based on the substance of the film. If there's a distortion of that black experience, or if there's a situation where they're perpetuating negative stereotypes about black people, or other situations where they're, promoting the white savior syndrome and all that kind of stuff, then I will be critical of that based on the substance of the film, not based on the mere fact that a white person is directing the film or acting in the film. So, that's what I'll say about that. I mean, there are plenty of films where there have been white directors about black experiences that are quality films, and I wouldn't just write them off because the director's white. Now, I'm going to go through some more of these comments that people left. One person said, black men only look out for themselves and they love white women. I'm not going to use the exact language that they use, but that's basically what they were saying. And are there some black men like that? Of course. Are there some black men that idolize white women? Yes. I mean, you can find plenty of them here on YouTube. But I don't think that that's the rule for most black men. Most black men are dating and marrying black women. And I think that what happens is we exaggerate the problem. And I think overall, like most black people are marrying other black people. Most black people are dating other black people. And I think that in the big scheme of things, those people that are chasing after white women are the minority. And I think that too often they get too much of the attention. And I'm going to make a couple of other points, go through some more of these comments. Someone said, well, they asked the question, are my black male viewers attracted to white women? And, I'll just say this, just based on the commentary that I received from a lot of my subscribers, most of them support black love. Most of them love black women. The people that support this channel, that know what my channel is about, they tend to share some of the same values that I have. So they appreciate the black women, black woman. Most of them do. Most of them love black women. So, I don't think that that's an issue with most of my subscribers. And let me look through some more of these comments. And then, this person further said that some black men don't have any problem with interracial relationships because they're attracted to white women. Again, that's some black men. That doesn't apply to most black men, I don't think. Especially not my subscribers. I don't think that that's the case with them. But I do recognize in this society that people have been programmed to view the white woman as the standard of beauty in this society. I think that still is an issue, and I think that the colorism issue is still very much alive, and that's a manifestation of, this fascination with white women. I do think that is a psychological problem that our people are still struggling with, but overall, the majority still love and appreciate the black woman. Now, somebody else said this. They said white women being sneaky and deceptive and dangerous would not scare off the typical black man. I don't know if the whole typical black man thing, again, I think that's, more that anti-black male rhetoric and stuff like that. I don't think that the typical black man would want to be with somebody who's sneaky and deceptive and dangerous, even if they are an advocate of interracial dating. So I think that's an exaggeration. And again, I think that most black men do love black women, despite how things appear here on YouTube. When you look out in the real world, who are black men marrying? Who are most black men dating? Now I know that there's an issue with like these celebrities that have wealth and fame and all that kind of stuff. Often, a lot of them do interracially date, because they have bought into this myth and lie of white supremacy. So I'm not downplaying this issue. I'm just thinking, in terms of the average, regular black male and just the black male community. And, just when you look at the statistics, it's clear that most black men are with black women. I think I addressed that point. Yeah, so someone made that point about, according to my logic, a white man can do a film on black life, and at that point, I don't have any right to complain. Again, for me, my issue is not with the mere color of the person directing a film or writing a film or anything like that. My problem is with people promoting stereotypes, people promoting an inaccurate, negative image of black people. That's my concern. Obviously, we should be the ones to tell our stories. We need to have more directors, write more scripts, and all that kind of stuff, produce more of our own films. But I don't think that the mere fact that somebody is non-black, that disqualifies them from doing a black film. And then somebody made this point, and I heard this before about this Nate Parker thing, about how supporting this film just means money going back to somebody's white wife, like in the case of Jordan Peele or Nate Parker and all that kind of stuff. I mean, really, I think that whole thing is overblown, because the money goes back to it goes to him. He's making money. The person is making money, like whether it's Nate Parker or Jordan Peele, they're making money. And if they have children and a family, their family is making money off of it. Um, so I think that's not the strongest argument. And then when you just look at any other film, I mean, all these other films people go to watch, these white films and stuff like that, white people are getting the money. I don't see anybody boycotting those films. So I just think that that's a lame reason to oppose watching a film, not supporting a film, especially a positive film that's addressing issues of racism in our community. The issue of exploitation of black bodies. I mean, this movie has an important message. And I think that sometimes we get so caught up in this gender war that we miss a great opportunity to to support a positive film that's addressing important issues of race. I mean, here we have, like in another case, like of Nat Turner. That's a story that should have been on the big screen a long time ago, but yet you had people so caught up in these gender politics that they refuse to support it. And I think that that's a disgrace. I mean, it's a disgrace that a quality film like that did not receive the kind of recognition that it deserved. So those are my thoughts. I know I can't cover everything that y'all said in the comment section, but I tried. I gave it my best shot. So tell me what y'all think about what I had to say. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.